Welcome back, OG5. Thanks for the quick commercial break. And speaking of commercial break, this episode of the What's in Your Head podcast is brought to you by our friends at Computers. Computers has been providing IT services all for Southwest Florida since 2003. And so if you need issues with your computers fixed, networks fixed, cameras fixed, anything network related. So if you have a problem with your Google Home or in your Nest, as Gordon liked to talk about earlier about the Nest doorbell system, give Computers a call at 239-283-1120. And even if you're not in the state of Florida or in Southwest Florida for that matter, give them a call anyhow. And with your assistance, they can log into your computer as long as you have internet. Believe it or not, we've had people call say, hey, my internet's down. Can you log in my computer and see what's going on? And I say no. So if your internet's working and you need help, give them a call at 239-283-1120. And right now, with everybody working from home, I cannot express the importance of two-form authentication to make sure your network is secure to keep the people out of Switzerland. That's right. I'm calling you out, Switzerland. I've seen it happen. Keep those hackers out of Switzerland, out of your network. And this is Bill's turn to burp through my advertisement like his co-host did last time he was on the air. Bill, you want to go ahead and burp? Get that burp in there?
I don't have a burp ready.
But anyhow, Bill didn't get his burp ready. You guys give them a call at 239-283-1120. They're also on Facebook, or you can go to Act Hyphen. The hyphen is that little dash between the 0 and the plus on your keyboard. Yes, it's 2020 and people still don't know what a hyphen is. Hyphen, or dash, if you will, is between the 0 and the plus. That's act-capecoral.com. And if you like the shirt I'm wearing, it makes no sense to you. That's because you're not in the know. I enjoy wearing in-the-know T-shirts. You know what I mean by in-the-know T-shirts, Gordon?
Please elaborate.
How about you, Bill? Do you know what I mean when I say in-the-know T-shirts?
You got to be in the club to know about it.
Correct. You guys see this T-shirt, it means nothing to you. But if you're a living historian of World War II reenactor, you say, hey, why has that guy got the K-Ration logo from the K-Rations that they served in the middle of World War II on his shirt? Because I am in the know. So believe it or not, this very cool logo is exactly what was on the dinner K-Ration box that was given to all the infantrymen during World War II. I'm currently making the supper. That's right. They didn't say lunch back in the day. They had breakfast, supper, and dinner. So if you're into World War II, you can get this shirt over at WTSPWorldWar2.com or D-410.com. If you're 2A, there's a new 2A Second Amendment shirt available at D-410.com, as well as the all-new What's in Your Head logo right there. My shirt's in the mail. Once it comes in, I'll happily sport it. And so head on over to D-410.com or what'sinyourhead.com and get those. And last but not least, if you're hungry, are you hungry? There you go. I know you're hungry. That's a TikTok thing. Sorry, I'm addicted to TikTok. But if you're hungry and you're tired of fast food and all the garbage and you want to learn how to cook, head over to D-410.com. Click on that Every Plate link and save yourself $20 on your first set of meals. I just had one tonight. It was steak, rice, and carrots. And I'm sorry, not steak. I had steak last night. Pork chops. And the pork chops had soy sauce on it, lime, and cut up chili pepper, the red chili pepper. It was goddamn delectable. Do you guys realize how unappreciated the lime is?
I've been using lime in my water for years versus a lemon. And it always messes with the server. You want a lemon? No, I want a lime.
It's like every one of these meals that we do from Every Plate, like half of them consist of either lime zest or a lime in general, where you put the lime, like tonight, you put a little lime zest on your pork chop, and then you squirt the lime on your rice and your carrots. It was goddamn delectable. Whoever thinks to put lime on their carrots?
I tell you what, put a little lime in some refried beans the next time you make some homemade tacos.
Oh,
fantastic.
On my birthday, Gordon and I were talking about this on the OG5 podcast. On my birthday, I went over to Carrie's family, and her sister-in-law is from a Cuban family. And I don't know what they do to their rice and beans, but their black beans and rice is the best goddamn thing in the world, and I can never be able to create that if I wanted to, which is a GD shame.
Just gotta get the recipe.
Bill, have you fixed your palate at all?
No, not really. No, I like what I like.
You're still
I had
eating
tacos tonight.
tacos from Taco Bell don't count.
No, we made tacos at home.
Really? How'd you do that?
The Ortega?
Even better. Taco Bell dinner kit. Hell yeah.
Oh, there you go.
To quote William Shakespeare.
I think Don's about to throw himself off a cliff, but good thing he's in Florida.
To quote William Shakespeare, a rose by any other name.
Except
turd.
Taco Bell.
A turd by any other name is still a turd.
Hey, man, they counted as homemade tacos.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like I like quality tacos. And this,
Yeah, well, D-Train ever makes his way out here, I'm going to have to take him to some quality taco places here in the Southwest because that is one thing we have everywhere.
you know, there is a great video going around on Facebook and TikTok where they're talking about how overrated In-N-Out is and how people just post it because they want everybody to know they're in California and how it's just a subpar hamburger and the French fries are soggy. But he's like, "Are you still gonna post?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm posting. I want everybody to know I'm here." It's just so
You know
well.
what? It makes sense. And even when I don't know how they were when you lived in Cali, but every time they build one here, and it'll stay this way forever, is the line is like 50 cars deep.
Yeah, it's insane. I will say one of the benefits that they have is the fact that they actually cut their French fries in house at the time, at that exact moment. But that, ladies and gentlemen, in the business is called stretching. See, I was actually trying to pull up some video links so that we can do what we were wanting to do because we have a new segment. This new segment is brought to you by nobody because we don't have any sponsors right now, unlike the Unsupervised podcast, who gets more sponsors in the NASCAR. But anyhow, I digress. This is the, here, well, it'll explain itself.
This week in virtue signaling.
That's right. We're going to talk about virtue signaling. Actually, we're not going to talk about virtue signaling. We're going to steal some content from Bill Maher, of all people. And we're going to comment on his comments about other people virtual signaling, virtue signaling. That's a hard phrase to say.
Virtue signaling, yes.
We all want to say virtual, but yes, we're going to talk virtue signaling. And Gordon, I'm going to kind of let you take the lead on this one. I did watch this, but you brought this to my attention and you wanted to bring it up on the show. So I'm going to hit play, and then what we'll do, because this is a 5-minute long thing, and we probably won't do the full 5 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll let Bill Maher here talk, and then in between his talking points, we will pause it and comment and go from there. But so here we go for this week in virtual. That's a virtual headset and virtue signaling. Oh, sorry, Bill. I gotta bring up the volume. I really need a producer. Bill, you gotta come over and be my
floating
producer.
around there, don't you?
And finally, new rule, black people have to demand that white people stop culturally appropriating how mad they are about racism. It's great that Caucasians have finally joined the fight for racial justice in unprecedented numbers, but hating racism the most? You can't steal that. Elvis taking Little Richard's act, that was bad enough. Victor Sengby is an Oakland resident who put up small loops for footholds on trees in a local park for exercise and games. He says,
out of the dozens and hundreds and thousands of people that have walked by, no one, has thought that it looked anywhere close to a noose.
but Oakland's mayor, Libby Schaaf, wasn't going to let all that cheat her out of a chance to signal her virtue. She said these incidents will be investigated as a hate crime. Why is this white woman seeing racism where a black man isn't? The mayor also said intentions don't matter.
Now, here's the thing. If you guys aren't familiar with the story, the intentions that didn't matter, he was making poor man, not monkey bars, but the rings. Like if you watch the video.
Like a climbing rope almost.
You know, if you watch the video of me on a Savage Race, you'll see where I'm going from rope to rope that had the rings. And so at a local park, he got some rope, put them through PVC piping to make handholds, and hung them from the trees. And him and other people in the park were actually using these for training their grip and upper body. And this happened right around the time the whole NASCAR news thing happened. And some Karen walking through the park, what do I see out of my eye? A rope hanging from a tree. That's clearly a noose.
White guilt.
White guilt.
Or
So
just stupid.
Karen heads on down to the park and reports it. Then it goes out to the mayor.
The head Karen.
It hits the news. And the gentleman you just heard, an African American, actually, we are allowed to say black now that Black Lives Matter. If you guys notice, all the newscasters are no longer saying African American, they're saying black. So a black man comes out and said, hey, that's not a noose. There's no negative connotation behind it. I made those and hung them up because because that's the inexpensive route, because let's face it, fitness equipment's expensive. Me and a bunch of other people here, we practice our grip, and we're doing that for training. It's not a noose. And as you heard the mayor say, these incidences will be investigated as a hate crime. evidence has been turned over to the FBI. So what? They cut down this guy's rings and hand them to the FBI? Intentions do not matter. So the
And
fact
let's just waste taxpayer money on frivolous bullshit.
so that she can come out and say, not getting by me on this one, I care. The fact that the thing should have been done. I don't even care if it was an Asian or a white person hung it up. Once they said, hey, here's what it is. It's been here forever. Not only am I using them, but other people in the park have come to use these things. They are not a noose. They are a rope. Let me ask you a question. They didn't say the color of the rope. You think they're a white rope with white PVC? Because that's the most common? Maybe a white nylon because it's weatherproof?
I'm thinking yellow in my head for some reason.
Well, I'm just wondering if they were a different color, if they wouldn't have been mistaken for a noose. Even though most ropes that were made in the nooses were made out of twine and or hemp.
For some reason, I was envisioning a black rope with white PVC.
Could be. They didn't show the photo because, after all, they never do, except for the one that came out from the NASCAR thing. And I'm sorry, if you follow me on TikTok, you know that, yes, that may have been a door pull, but that was clearly a door pull that was manipulated to look like a noose. Someone put
Because what do rednecks do?
They make nooses.
Yeah.
And how do
worked
we know?
Construction, and they did it all the time, and they thought it was funny. But whatever. I mean, if you got 2 brain cells and that's what gets you off, then fuck.
Well, in the case of that door pull, making a noose is not a economical way to make a door pull. It actually uses more rope because you have to go down, fold it up, fold it back down, wrap it around, and then go up. Whereas if you would have just made a loop and tied it in a knot, you would have been done. But the problem with the noose is when you pull the door, it's going to close on you. So that means at some point someone had to get a hot glue gun or some caulking or something to prevent it from closing. So the whole idea of that just quote-unquote being a door pull is complete and absolute utter bullshit. I'm not saying it hasn't been there for 5 years. I'm just saying whether it's a mechanic, the guy who does the hedges, the guy who cleans the toilet, somebody at some point thought it'd be funny to make that into a noose. And if you're trying to convince the world otherwise, you're playing yourself.
And it just looks like something that there's probably several cans of Budweiser involved.
Yeah, it might not have been racist. It was just probably drunk guys going, I could tie a noose. to
Natty
watch
Ice.
this."
Any other comments on so far on the monkey?
Yeah, don't
The
throw
rings-
your arm out patting yourself on the twat, bitch. Fuck.
Can we not vote for these people? I'm sorry.
But she looks so much better because, she is
She looks
on the right side of history.
Is she a hottie, though? Or
No,
is
she looks like a skinny cross between Rosie O'Donnell and a young Cher.
That's a
Ugh.
weird-ass thing.
Yeah. But-
And the other problem is these people don't show they're stupid, really, until after they're elected. So a lot of the stupid comes out later.
Well, except for what's her nose, OCR or OSC or ABC Elemented P, whatever the fuck her name is.
Okay.
Yeah, Alexandra.
Cortazo, Correz, you killed my father,
Horsemouth.
prepared to die.
Teeth. We'll just call her Teeth.
Is she like the daughter of the dude from fucking Princess Bride who was looking for the guy with 6 fingers on his right hand? Isn't that him? My name is Indio Ventoya. You'll kill my father, prepared to die.
My name is.
I think so.
Yeah, oh my God. He is, by the way, in Homeland.
To me, when I see him, you know who he is to me? He's
Who
the
is he?
guy from Dead Like Me who was the head of all the Grim Reapers. I forget his character.
Rube.
Yes, he was Rube to me. That was such a great series.
I do love that show.
If you guys haven't seen Dead Like Me, that was some fantastic writing on that. I think it's on Netflix.
I think some of it is. Maybe Hulu. One of those.
Have you ever seen it, Gordon?
Yes, I have. Actually, our sister got us and got
Yes,
me into
she
it
did.
anyway.
But okay, we're gonna head on down to see what the next. We're probably gonna catch a little bit end of the previous comment because I'm simply pausing here. We don't have a producer.
They do matter. And white people need to stop trying to cancel other white people whose heart is in the right place, but don't get it exactly right on the first try. A few weeks ago, when everyone was posting a black square on Instagram,
Not this guy.
BuzzFeed wrote, "Influencers, it's a privilege to post a black square and then go back to your usual content." As opposed to what? Abandoning your life and just posting a black square every day? People got called out for not posting the square, then for just posting it without speaking out. And then for
Silence,
posting it
silence.
and speaking out, but not voicing their support in the exact way that was said in the new Dakota ring. They were helping wrong. Ellen DeGeneres felt
The black square thing. One thing he didn't cover. You remember? You're strong on Instagram. Did you participate in that nonsense?
Which one?
The one where everybody's just posting
Blackout.
the blackout on Instagram. They're posting the black square.
I did. It was just for the day, though. A lot of people did it for
Did you post the black square though?
Yes, I think we did.
And did you notice the next day they're coming out saying stop the blackout because a
Yeah.
lot of us use this as a form of communicating, and so but you guys are not.
I
The
didn't
message
use the
isn't
hashtag.
the message isn't getting out there because you guys aren't posting new content. You know what I noticed? I get called a narcissist quite a bit by Gary. Whatever. You know who I noticed is kind of a narcissist? So everybody's posting the black square, right? And the hashtag blackout, Black Lives Matter. Did you see the one Shaq posted?
No.
His was the black square, but they basically put his headshot in Photoshop and they took the occupancy down to like 6.
So
on
they
a-
ghosted his logo.
So
in
on the
his
black
face?
in the black square, you could see the outline of his nose, his cheeks, and his chin. He couldn't go one post without putting his face up on the goddamn thing. So even when he was doing a blackout, it was this. You could see the outline of his big bald head. And I'm not bald. Yeah, he has got a big bald head in the background. I'm like, you can't even for one post. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't post it at all. But if you're going to if you're going to participate in it, you're kind of running it by putting your freaking silhouette of your mug in the background. Are you that much of a narcissist that you got every single post has to have you in it?
So a little bit of a non sequitur. I need to try Shaq's Big Chicken. We got one down near the Strip. Check that thing out. Maybe do a food review on it. But what I do want to say about what Bill was
Hold
Bill
on, while we're on
said
Shaq, I don't want people to think I'm dogging on Shaq. I actually know somebody who works with Shaq, and Shaq is everything you see on TV. Not get too much into it, but the person I know from radio who works with him, when he went down there to try to get a business relationship with Shaq, he was at Shaq's house, right? Drove over to Miami, goes in there, opens up his laptop, and the wallpaper on his laptop's his kids. And he said, "Okay, Mr. O'Neill, here's." And Shaq stopped him and said, "Where are your kids at?" He said, "They're back home." And Shaq said, "Don't ever leave your kids when you're coming over here. If you have the if you have the opportunity to bring them, bring them." So
Oh, that's awesome.
he's like, "Bring them. There's plenty of things to do over here. Don't ever leave your kids behind to do a business thing with me." And these two have done some business stuff. This guy travels around with them. I've seen pictures where he's offset when Shaq's doing. But yeah, Shaq is all about family and the kids. And when you're in the middle of a business meeting and you see someone's kids on your laptop and say, "Hey, next time you come," and I don't matter, they've traveled around with him. He is probably the most honest, real celebrity you'll ever see, especially when it comes to that family stuff. It's insane. He is such a good guy.
Fantastic.
So no, I'm not dogging on Shaq. I just thought it was funny. And let's be honest, he didn't post that. His whoever runs his Instagram page posted that and came up with it. Whoever his marketing guy and his public relations people. I'm sure he wasn't sitting on his Mac on fucking Photoshop doing that shit. He probably didn't even know. But I just had to bust his balls a little bit. But go ahead.
So back to that. I just want to say thank you, Bill Maher, for voicing what us reasonable people have been thinking.
Yeah.
About this whole thing, because I feel trapped. I feel like I can't do anything. Whatever I say is wrong. And thank you, dude. I don't agree with you usually politically, but you are right on target on this thing.
Okay, here we go on Ellen.
Felt enough pressure so that she erased a tweet that said, "People of color in this country have faced injustice for far too long." Okay, that may not be exactly Black Lives Matter, but it's also very true and pretty close to what we're trying to get everyone to understand. Liberalism should be about lifting people up, and you don't do that by slapping down people who are trying to say, "I'm on your side." No wonder white people right now are acting like a nervous waiter on their first day. So scared of making a mistake, they put a fork in your iced tea and a straw in your salad.
Or Bill's
We don't
salad.
want to chant the wrong chant or hold the wrong sign. Hey, please, it's all we can do to clap on the right beat. You want to be a good ally, but not too good or you're being a white savior. Use your voice, but don't make it about yourself. But speak up, unless it's your time to just listen. And then silence is violence. Even though sometimes silence just means someone works 2 jobs and has 3 kids. They have baby food on their shirt, not hate in their heart. Some guy just wrote into the New York Post, "I am a senior level leader in an organization and feel compelled to speak up about racial injustice, but I'm afraid to. As a white man, I'm afraid that I will say something that will be misinterpreted and I will do more harm than good for my career too. Staying silent seems wrong, but safer. Am I alone in this?" Unfortunately, no. There was a sports announcer in Sacramento who tweeted, "All lives matter," and immediately got fired, even though he apologized and said he just didn't understand. What he said came from a place of ignorance, not racism.
Why is that ignorance? I understand
There are
it's
a
stepping
lot of
on the
people who
movement and getting on their toes. But to claim ignorance, it's just...
There's just so much vitriol against that. And that's what sucks. I mean, I've even heard people say that's racist to say that.
Yeah.
And,
Well, it's
and
racist to
so,
say anything.
and,
you
and I
like.
saw a meme today, which is true. You can say, "I've got black pride." The Asian man will say, "I've got Asian pride."
Don't
but
say
as
it.
soon as you say,
Don't say it.
"I've got mixed European heritage pride,"
Well, why don't you pull out your hood, you cracker? I know what you're saying, you Klansman.
Exactly. It's like, look, I was born who I was. You were born who you are. Take pride in it. We see people come in, as I've said before, Vegas is extremely diverse. And one thing I notice is every culture, wherever they come from, have that pride of their culture. But if I fly an American flag, because, I am from here, and as my research has gone, we going back to colonial times, I'm now probably going to be considered a racist because I'm white, I'm middle-aged, I'm flying a flag, and I am 2A. So
Okay.
now I'm pigeonholed. Now I'm generalized because, as Adam Carolla said, and I hate to bite his line, but he's absolutely right, the most tolerant people are actually the most intolerant.
Exactly. And let's talk about the flag for a moment. That flag has 50 stars on it. It used to have 48. And before that, less. Now, I'm not going to believe what I'm going to say. I don't believe this, but I'm playing the devil's advocate. If we want to talk about our flag being a symbol of racism, then why don't we talk about the version of the flag that was flying at the time in our country that racism was alive? The flag did not have 50 stars back then. It had 13 or less. Slavery started in 1500 before this country. By the way, the continent of the North America did not create slavery. The first slaves came here by the Spaniards. Actually, they came to South America in the 1500s, long before our country was even a fucking wet dream in anybody's idea.
In reality, slavery has been around since humans have been walking this earth.
Exactly. But furthermore, back to the point at hand. If you guys want to make the argument that the older flags are a sign of racism, that could be said. But as I said before, the United States flag does not represent the government. It represents us, the people. So if you have a problem with the government has its own flag. It's blue, got a bird on it, some stars. Burn that fucking flag. Every city has their own flag. You got a problem with Minneapolis, in that city, find their flag. Burn their flag. Their police have their own symbol. Find that flag. Probably be hard to find, but find that flag. When you burn the American flag, you're burning the flag that represents us as a whole. Not the government, not the police, and sure the fuck not racism, because that flag in that form was not around when racism was there. So find a new fucking thing to burn down, because it's fucking retarded.
I think Minneapolis's new police logo is going to be a Whackin' Hut logo.
For those of you playing along at home, that's the guy in the white shirt who sits in the box in front of every gated community. Speaking of that, did you see that video footage?
Yes, I did. You talking about the 2 lawyers with horrible. I think the female had her booger hook on the bang switch, and
That chick,
they just don't know what they're doing.
that chick probably has been to the gun range one time. That was the day she bought that fucking
I
piece
don't
of
think she
shit
went.
gun. No trigger discipline at all. Fucking waving the goddamn
Sweeping.
barrel around. Her husband had a off-the-wall stock AR-15 that he bought for $345. Then he had so much changed the fucking charging handle on it. So
Did you see that estate though?
Yeah.
That house? Well, here's the thing. One of the things that they're sleeping on is those people were actually on private property.
Yeah, well, I don't have a problem with what they did. I have a problem about how they went about it.
Absolutely.
You're concerned for your property. Here's what you do. Get your guns, pull up a lawn
ready.
chair, sit in your driveway, lean your rifle up against your chair, crack a beer, and just watch.
Or if you're
When
standing,
they
have it in
come and create a threat, stand up, show yourself, visual deterrence, and usually that'll alleviate the situation. But walking through your yard like fucking Johnny Badass with your trigger on your finger, sweeping the fucking crowd where you could accidentally trip and pull that goddamn trigger and shoot somebody, you're just making shit worse. You're actually hyping up the crowd and giving them something to react to. They completely
Thanks, you're
went about-
giving something for the anti-2A people to glom onto. You fucking shitheads. I hope you get fined or jail time.
Okay, we're gonna wrap. We'll do a little bit more Bill Maher's. Only a minute left.
That difference is important. Someone could have just explained to him why there's a deservedly special reason we single out black lives for protection. But now, instead of a possible ally, we create a bitter unemployed person. Willow Smith, yes, Willow Smith said, "I'm seeing people shaming others for what they are choosing to say or shaming people for not saying anything at all. I feel like if we really want change, shaming doesn't lead to learning." She gets it. Surely people twice her age could make the effort. I worry that the kind of tension that the guardians of gotcha are creating is going to make people afraid to mingle at all and thrust us back towards a resegregation of sorts, where instead of just seeing a person and not a color, now we're only seeing color. Maybe this is old school liberalism talking, but I don't think that's the way to go. Let's hang out. And if I fuck up, tell me why, not goodbye. It's a gradual, years-long process.
And that's a good point. There are people who, interestingly enough, on that side who have gone as far as saying we need black-only dorms and black-only classes and all that. It's like, wait a minute, you're trying to resegregate the fucking schools? That's
Bringing Jim Crow back? What's going on?
And that's not even white people doing that. It's like, holy fuck, where are we going in this country? Is this a result of the fact that we don't teach history anymore?
It's
Bill's
gotta
like,
be.
what the fuck did I get involved with?
This year, so I
Sorry
don't
for
get
going
fined.
deep on you, Bill.
This year, so I don't get fined.
Fined by who?
Oh, fine. Yeah, never mind. Listen, I talk dick and fart jokes 90% of the time, so this is a switch.
When you have a podcast, you can say whatever the fuck you want. When you have no listeners, you can say whatever the fuck you want. See, that's the nice thing about having a very small crowd is most of these whiny bitches, they will never hear none of this stuff. They, when you have millions and millions of listeners, that's when it becomes problematic. When you have 5, hey, I can say whatever I want because these 5 people aren't going to sell me down the river. So thank you so much, OG5, and head on over to Patreon or d-410.com. Sign up for Patreon. It's $1 a month. Get free access to the podcast and other content, free stickers. And if you sign up for the Tier 3 at $7.50 a month, you get a free T-shirt like the one I'm wearing now, and so on and so forth. But yeah, that was this week's episode of whatever Carrie said.
This week in virtue signaling.
Yeah, this week in virtue signaling. It's so goddamn
It's really
crazy.
hard to say.
Well, it is called What's in Your Head, and unfortunately, right now, with everything that's going on, it is what's in our head. We would rather be happier. That is for sure.
Yeah.
You guys think everyone should wear masks? Oh, that's a topic everyone's angry about.
I don't mind. I'll be quite honest. So I flip it, even though I do lean towards the right. I'm like, because you hear all these pussies wearing their mask and this and that. I'm like, maybe you're the pussy because it's uncomfortable. Just wear the fucking mask. It's called an ounce of prevention. It's going to catch some of that spittle coming out of you, and that's what it travels on, allegedly.
But, yeah.
Do you guys have the permanent mask or do you guys wear the temporary mask? I know Bill sells them, so you have the permanent mask, right?
I got permanent. I got some temporary ones.
When's the
Depends
last
on where
time you
I'm at.
washed your permanent mask?
Every day, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I
never
have
washed
three
mine.
of 4 of them actually.
I have a UV light sanitizer I use both sides.
Because I'm such a history nerd. I bought one when this started. It's made from the same material that they make the Marine Corps reenacting camouflage uniforms from, and I haven't washed that fucking thing one time. I've worn it. Nuggets worn it. Carrie's worn it. Nope. Still.
You don't share masks. It's like sharing
Hey,
underwear.
keep it in the family, man.
Hey man, we all we're all here in the same house. But yeah, no, I have a mask. I take it with me, especially on the jobs if the companies I'm going into require it. I'll wear it if it's super crowded, like in the stores. But like if I walk in there and there's like one person in the aisle, I usually hanging off my ear or whatever. But if I'm going down the aisle and there's like 7 or 8 people there, I'll put it on. Being 6'5", I breathe. I'm taller than all the goddamn border shields they're putting up. I made this teller laugh her ass off. She could not get over the phrase booger shield. Apparently, she'd never heard it and must have never worked in anywhere with a salad bar, because I believe that is the technical term for it. But yeah, I said, I'm taller than your booger shield, and she just could not stop laughing. She said, I have booger shield. I just started laughing, but yeah.
I mean, the thing is hospitalizations have gone up.
Yep.
And
Especially
the
here in
trend's
Florida.
there. So just do the right thing. Don't be a selfish son of a bitch. It's not about you that you're protecting. It's about the other people out there.
I'll say that there's 4 people on our podcast here. 3 of them are believers in the mask. One of them is not. The one that is not has already been tested because he hangs around people that don't wear the fucking mask.
Yeah.
Now, is this the 50-year-old?
No, it's Junior. He had to go get tested last week, so we banished him for a week or 2 from the show.
No, the 50-year-old does lawn care, and he rides around by himself all day and shits in his utility trailer when he's got to use the bathroom. So he.
Well, lawn care guys wear a mask all day anyway.
yeah,
So
and
That's true. He does. So he's all for it. And Christy's the smart one, so I'm going to believe her.
yeah. Did you guys hear that the ATM usage is down?
I would
Yeah.
not doubt that.
I don't want to touch that shit.
Who carries money on them? I mean, I don't want to sound like that guy, but everything's direct deposit nowadays. Most everybody pays all their bills online. I never have cash on me unless I'm like going to go see something or someone.
Hookers. Oh.
Yeah, that too. And even them, I think, take Square now.
I've been trying to carry like 5. I've been
Watch
trying
out, the
to carry
homeless
20
people take
bucks.
Square too.
I did see some homeless people like on their phone the other day.
Oh yeah, how you think they squat out houses? They check Zillow out, and they see who's up for sale, and before you know it, they're squatting. Yeah, high tech homeless is what
Gordon,
we have these days.
I know we want to talk about that, but we're down to another 10 minutes, so.
That's fine.
Joining us now from the Digital 410 West News Desk in Las Vegas, Nevada, Gordon Abernathy.
Hey, Gordon, what's going on tonight? And if you get tired of hearing seeing us have to cut the show in half, head over to Patreon so that we can afford the extra $19 a month for the full ride version of Zoom, so we don't have to split our show in half. For some reason, they let us go 120 minutes one week, and the next week they're cutting the show in half. So anyhow, Gordon.
So unfortunately, a lot of things it's going to be COVID or CHOP related. We're going
They're
to do
shutting
2
that shit
quick
down,
ones.
aren't they?
No, because last night there was another shooting.
Hey, you get
Seattle-
what you vote for. I'm sorry, Seattle. You guys have been voting this shit in for years, and they try to set one up in Portland. They shut that shit down, but at a certain point, you guys get what you vote for. We got an election coming up in November, and if you don't vote these mayors and fucking city councilmen out, that shit's on you. Good luck.
Yeah, it's insane. So check this out. This comes in from Fox, just because it was the only one I didn't have to pay for to read. But latest Seattle CHOP
We're
shooting
so fucking poor.
sees 1 dead and another one in critical condition. So 1 man had died and another remains hospitalized in critical condition following a shooting early this morning in the CHOP, or Seattle's Capitol Hill Organized Protest Zone. These 2 males were suffering gunshot wounds and they arrived at Harborview Medical Center's emergency department. Okay, so the shooting victim who arrived at the hospital at 3:30 from the CHOP area had unfortunately died. The other one, and the other male arrived at 3:15 a.m. by private vehicle. He remains in critical condition and intensive care. The Seattle Police Department, or Wackenhut at these days, says officers are investigating the shooting near the 12th Avenue and Pike Street, where the 2 people reported injuries. The corner is about 2 blocks away from the Cal Anderson Park, where protesters initially camped out in tents to occupy the area referred to as the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, or CHAZ back in the day. I have to say back in the day. The encampment
3
had
weeks ago.
Yeah, back in the day, it's like hearing a teenager.
I know. I was gonna
about,
say, I love
a
when you hear
year
a
before.
12-year-old say back in the day. It's like, what are we talking
What was
about?
it? Yesterday?
You don't remember anything from when you were less than 6, so you're talking like 4 years.
So, needless to say, I'm not going to get any further in. The shit show is still going on in Seattle. Yeah, keep on moving on with that, you guys. You're all fucking slaying it over there. And unfortunately, here in Vegas, due to COVID, the famous Cirque du Soleil has filed for bankruptcy.
Chapter 11 or bankruptcy?
Bankruptcy, Chapter 15.
Okay.
Bankruptcy protection. So the entertainment group is working to reconstruct its capital structure. According to the statement released, its application will be heard by the Superior Court of Quebec on Tuesday, because if you didn't know, Cirque du Soleil is Quebec, French Canadian, or frog. And once given its initial order, it will file for the Chapter 15 protection in the United States. You know, it is an institution on the Strip. The shows are very expensive. They got 6 major shows. We've gone to a few, but that's usually if we've gotten, you know, the local deal or whatever. But yeah, from the beginning of the new coronavirus outbreak, Cirque du Soleil took rigorous measures to protect its work team and the public. So their priority had been always to remain healthy and safe. It'll be interesting to see what goes on. I need to talk to my neighbor because he works for them. And
Go back to the fence and say, hey, Wilson, come here. Howdy ho, neighbor.
well, he's a short guy from Bulgaria. But yeah, so I'll talk to him and see what's going on. He seems okay, although he is bald, so that he make him initially whatever. I've got a thought about bald people.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Yeah.
I'm losing my hair, but anyhow, go ahead.
I'm not.
Man, shut up.
I just got to lose the weight. But that's
Valid.
pretty much going to be it from the news desk. We are running down to 2 minutes.
2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. Thank you guys so much. Bill, where can people find you over at the Unsupervised Podcast other than just emailing any random email address at unsuper03?
Yeah, on iTunes and anywhere you can find a podcast, just the Unsupervised Podcast, or on social media, Unsupervised03.
Are you guys still doing the fooling around with the live stream and stuff at all?
We're thinking, I think we're just going to do once a month.
There you go.
And we're working on a special podcast, different podcast for Patreon.
There you go. That's more work and more
Yes.
disappointment when no one shows up. But thank you
Yes.
guys so much. We're down to 1:13. Thank you, OG5. If you guys want to help support the show, head over to d-410.com. You can go to our YouTube channel, click and sign up for that. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And thank you, Bill, for the Hasselhoff and the Speedo celebrating my 42nd birthday. But head over to d-410.com. Get your shirts. We're going to start a sticker link here soon. Head over to Patreon, sign up for that. We would greatly appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for all your continued support, and we will see you all next week.
This has been a Digital 410 production.